So good evening, everyone. We'll open the regular council meeting of September 17th and call it to order. Under presentations, we have none this evening. Adoption of the agenda. Could I have a motion, please, to adopt the agenda as presented? Thank you, Councillor Moore. Seconded. Councillor Frank, any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next. Minutes, could I have a motion, please, to accept the minutes of the council meeting held on August 27th? Thank you, Councillor Yanish, seconded by Councillor Vroba. Any questions on that? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have the Chief of Police and the Deputy Chief of Police. Good evening, gentlemen. And we also have a member from the board. Thank you for coming, Lynn. And we will be going over the needs assessment report from Rebanks, Pepper, and Littlewood. So Chief, please take it away. Turn your mic on, and we're all waiting with bated breath.
I bet you are. I'd like to, first of all, say thank you to Council and your worship for having us here tonight. This has been an ongoing discussion in regards to the policing facility in Estevan for the better part of a year and a half now. And I'll just start with a bit of the history. The original building for the original police facility was built approximately 60 years ago, and was last renovated in 1991, more than 25 years ago. The facility was a state-of-the-art building, no doubt, when it was first built, but it's hardly the case today to keep up with today's policing standards. There's several security deficiencies as well as space deficiencies that were noted to be hampering the performance and the ability to provide adequate and effective policing within Estevan. The evolution of policing has changed significantly over the past 60 years. Technology has increased, the need for special labs and server rooms to conduct cyber investigations. Retention periods have resulted in the need for more space for file and evidence storage. Crimes have become more sophisticated, requiring special units with special training dependent of the type of crime being investigated. The need for increased facility security has changed based on municipal, provincial, and national threat levels that haven't been seen in policing before. So, just to give a bit of the background, on October 2016, or in October 2016 rather, we began looking into concerns regarding the current police facility. In December 2016, we presented to the Board of Police Commissioners the concerns with the aging and inadequate police facility. In January 2017, it was decided that it would be best to have a third party examine what the citizens of Estevan require for a police facility. And I want to make it clear tonight that this is not the police chief or the deputy police chief looking for a new police facility. This is, as part of our duties, bringing to the attention of this council and to the Board of Police Commissioners that the mind has to start turning towards what are we doing for the future of policing in Estevan when it comes into the realm of our facility. This approach would provide a third-party realistic view of true needs regarding the policing facility. The services of Rebank, Pepper, Littlewood Architects was retained for this purpose. Since the early 80s, Rebanks, Pepper, and Littlewood has provided architectural and planning services to police organizations across North America. They have in-depth experience in police needs assessments, functional programming, and existing building site analysis. This process involved on-site evaluations, meetings with members of the board, administration, and frontline staff. On September 19th, 2017, the long-term facility plan was presented to the Board of Police Commissioners outlining the findings. And the findings were not surprising, but this process validated what the administration and the Board of Police Commissioners already believed to be accurate. So in the report, and I'm not going to belabor the entire report, it's quite lengthy, but if you turn to page 6, it provides a pretty substantial breakdown of the concern with the current facility as it sits now. Many spaces, and I'll just read off the last paragraph, many spaces within the existing building are undersized, and there are many activities for which dedicated space is not available. The continuing move towards more specialization in response to changing police strategies and methods has further impacted the pressure on existing space. what existing space there is insufficiently planned and used, partly as a result of many ad hoc changes over the years. Lack of space and how it is organized results in many inefficiencies and hamper the organization's operations, particularly in times of emergency or in response to major incidents. Shortcomings of the existing building include, and I'll just go through the list very quickly: lack of meeting spaces and project rooms, inadequate training space, no suitable space for community meetings, no proper shift briefing area, lack of appropriate interview and monitoring areas for interviews with members of the public, victims or witnesses, inadequate rooms for interviewing persons in custody, inadequate forensic ident areas and the inability to conduct analysis on smartphones and other devices, no proper spaces for safe and secure drug intake, analysis and storage, no proper room for server and IT and communication equipment, inadequate lockers and other staff amenities, lack of office space resulting in inappropriate sharing, inadequate and unsecured dispatch area, inadequate file storage and archive space, inadequate facilities for operational vehicles, no proper vehicle examination or impound area, lack of space for specialized units such as tactical, poorly planned prisoner booking and detention areas, steps in secure prisoner transfer Sallyport, no space for support units such as school resource and community resource, general lack of privacy and confidentiality due to constrained space and lack of appropriate facilities. The emergency generator, as it sits now, supplies power to essential systems only, putting police operations in somewhat jeopardy during power outages. The existing building is well over capacity. It does not meet current needs, and there is no room for future growth or to adapt to current and future policing practices and technologies. The report goes on to talk about the safety, and when I talk about the safety concerns, when that building was built many years ago, interview rooms were housed within the actual building where civilians work today. Policing has changed significantly. Threats to policing have increased. The safety for police officers has changed dramatically. We have people now that may be witnesses that the police have no authority to search or pat down, that we bring directly into our police facility to conduct interviews. And that's just one of the many examples. So, for example, in modern police buildings, the interview rooms are hosted right off the front lobby so that nobody enters the secure area of the police facility. Our dispatch area is surrounded by plate glass windows. That would not be the case in today's police buildings. There's numerous certainly security issues detailed in the report when it comes to the building. The purpose of meeting tonight was just to let council know from the board's perspective, and we've already certainly belabored this quite a bit during board meetings, but to let council know that perhaps it's time to start turning the mind towards the police facilities and looking at what the future holds for the police building. Again, I can't stress enough, this isn't a case of, the chief or the deputy chief saying we want a new building. This is not the administration of the police services building. This is the community's building. It's a community facility, and it's a very important facility in our view when it comes to the safety in this community. So certainly there are some examples or some options provided in the report. The costs of those options are laid out and included, and you'll see that they're quite costly. The board, along with myself, has certainly been working at how we could look at bringing those costs significantly lower, and I think that certainly can be done. The numbers in there certainly are shocking when you look at them. So there's been discussion that obviously keeping in mind what the financial state of the city is, what is a realistic approach to meeting the needs of the city, meeting the needs of the police service, but keeping finances intact and certainly being mindful to that. So if there's any questions.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Chief Ladouceur and Deputy Chief Cowan. We'll open the floor to questions or comments. Go ahead, Councillor Moore.
Thank you, Worship, to Chief Paul. After reading the report and the costs and the four proposals, personally, I would be in favor of a brand new building. We did a brand new building years ago. We designed it to work for the time. And I think without going with the new building, we would be gathering up what we have. And before we know it, we've probably reached the budget and surpassed the budget. And maybe when we're all done, we haven't got anything any better than the other folks that you've proved that didn't do a great job. Having toured the fire hall just in the last couple of days. Once you take the doors off the fire hall, we haven't got a whole lot going for us. We got a shell of a building, so I could see a lot of expense trying to negotiate that into a combination with what we already have on the east side of the street. So that's just a personal view. When I finished it up, I thought, you know what, we got to do it right. The dollars will be what they are, and if we have to take several years to pay for it, we will be looked after properly, and we'll have something when we're finished. So that's my 2 bits worth.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Moore. Councillor Broba?
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you to the both of you for coming in today. I too was lucky enough to have a tour of your facility, and I was impressed with how you utilize the little space that you do have. I couldn't believe how efficient you guys are, but you definitely need more space. However, I had kind of thrown the idea out there. My thought was to utilize that parking lot, create a whole brand new second building that would be connected with a hallway that would basically maybe assist you with the extra space at a lower cost. So I'm not sure if that's something that we could look at. Hopefully all options are still, I'm assuming, on the table, and we can discuss that later, but that's just where I thought maybe there was a way that we could look at giving you still the extra space and still utilizing the original building for now.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Broba. Any other questions or comments from members of council? Now, of course, this will be going to Budget Chief, so we'll see where that goes. And the board, as you know, have spent countless hours looking at different options, and that will continue. And hopefully we can have some more information for council as we get closer to budget, as far as suggestions.
Thank you, Your Worship. My experience with these things, certainly in the past has been nobody likes to spend money when it comes to big expenses like new buildings and things like that. So I know I'm not the favorite fan that council wants to hear from tonight by any means, but I think we have to be mindful to the fact that it's a need for the city. It really is. I don't think there's too many councillors or members of the board that haven't toured that facility, and we are getting at the point where we're really struggling for space. So I'm hopeful that this is something that will be a priority for council moving forward.
Okay, again, thank you both for coming, and thank you, Lynn, for coming as well. A member of the board at large, thank you as well. So if you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, you're more than welcome. We also understand if you want to exit stage right.
I'd love to stay, but I'm going half-back.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, could we have a motion, please, to table this to budget? Thank you. Okay. Councillor Yanish and Councillor Frank. Any questions? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. Next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have from the Southeast Transportation meeting minutes of August 2018. Could we have a motion, please, to accept those? Councillor Moore, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Broba. Councillor Moore, anything you want to add?
Thank you, Your Worship. All I can say is that we are preparing our roads and ditches for the winter season coming up, and that means trimming all the grass for 15 feet into the ditch. We don't do full ditch cut anymore. And looking after any tree growth that's happened over the summer. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, well,
Trying to make things safe.
thank you so much. Any questions of Councillor Moore? Councillor Hoffer.
Thank you. Just a comment, Councillor Moore, that perhaps you could pass forward. Many is the time that someone shows up at my office for a meeting from elsewhere in the province, and they have taken the turn at the highway number 1 north and come down on the big sign that says Estevan this way and come through Stoughton and have almost lost their vehicle or whatever else happens to them on that road. And maybe there's something that needs to be done with the signage or GPS routes or something to correct that situation, but maybe you could pass that concern on.
The reason for the question is because it's pretty much impassable. Is that what you're trying to?
On occasion, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. When it's wet, for sure, it's for vehicles, small vehicles, it really is
This is
pretty
like,
much
but when you're
impassable.
turning off the main highway, based on the signage alone, you would feel that there's the route you should be taking, Provincial Highway 47, and I know it's
point.
not something that's your fault or anything, just
Yeah,
if you
no,
could pass that on.
That's exactly what we're here
For sure.
for, so.
Thank you.
I'll see that something gets put up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hoffert. Thank you, Councillor Moore. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under written reports of committees, we have from the Estevan Arts Council the minutes of June 6th, 2018. Could we have a motion, please, to accept these? Thank you. Councillor Yanish, seconded by Councillor Hoffert. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under executive reports, we have from the City Mechanic 2018 Tandem Combination Sewer Cleaner Report. And we have Dylan Paradis, our shop foreman, here this evening to answer any questions. So what's the wish of council on this, please, this evening? Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you for coming tonight, Dylan. I was going to say this is something that we have talked about quite a bit. We had hoped our trade-in value was going to be higher, but unfortunately the market isn't there. We also had thought it was such a long time to get this built. Between 8 and 12 months was the original thought, but now we've come across where we can get this unit within the 60 days to be delivered. And this unit, you said earlier, is primarily used in the summer, but this is going to be a good opportunity for us to be able to use it this winter when it is also needed, and our current one is only able to be used in the summer.
Thanks, Councillor Broba. No, it can be used in the winter time, but it's a very limited window frame that you can use it because it doesn't have the proper recirculation systems on it like the new current ones do. So when you get to your site to do your flushing of the sewer main, you basically got to get set up and start flushing right away. Otherwise, stuff will start freezing on you.
And so this is something that will be saving the city money because we will be not contracting other companies. And I think last when Janice spoke to us, she had talked about how sometimes there's not always a unit available when the city needs it.
That's
And
correct.
That puts
yeah.
us behind. So
Yeah, that would eliminate contracting of a third-party business to do, if we're doing a water dig, to sit there and suck up the water as we're in a hole. We would be able to do that ourselves. We'd be able to sit there, recirculate that water so nothing freezes up. Where now our truck can't just sit there and suck water up in the wintertime because there's no proper recirculation, so everything would start freezing on it, even though it's just sitting there sucking up water.
And so with the high cost of repairs on this unit that we currently have, it is probably more economically friendly for us to go ahead and I would like to make the recommendation that we purchase the West Vac with the Echo 900 demo unit with this availability of 60 days versus the 8 to 12 months or 12 to 18 months, whatever it may be. So I'd like to make that recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Vroba. You'll make that motion? Okay, have we got a seconder? Councillor Yanish. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under executive reports, we have from the city manager the bid for the SPRA conference. City manager, would you like to speak to that, please?
Thank you, Your Worship. So we have been approached and have interest in hosting the SPRA conference. So this is Saskatchewan Parks and Rec Association conference. It brings over 200 recreational professionals into the community. It's generally a very good time to showcase some of the great facilities we have. We have people from all over the province to our city using our amenities. Your Worship, using our amenities, using our hotels, our restaurants, and it does, I've looked at the financials from previous conferences and they tend to break even or even make some based on entrance fees. So I think this is a great thing for our community. We have great facilities. I think we need to bring recreational professionals from all over the province to come down and see these. And I just think it would be a great overall experience.
Thank you so much, City Manager. Questions or comments? Councillor Hoffer.
If you're looking for an endorsement to proceed with this, I'd be happy to
Absolutely.
make the motion to proceed.
Okay, have we got a seconder? Okay, Councillor Moore. Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under executive reports, we have from our HR, The reasonable suspicion policy, 2018-72. Could we have a motion, please, to accept that report as presented? Thank you. Councillor Groba, seconded by Councillor Frank. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, from our building official, we have the building permit for August 2018. Could I have a motion, please, for that? Councillor Yanish, seconded by Councillor Hoffert. Any further questions? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under executive reports, we have from the fire chief, the fire report for August 2018. Could we have a motion, please, for this? Councillor Moore, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Hoffert. Any questions? If not, go ahead, Councillor Hoffert.
Not a question, but maybe just a comment. We toured the Fire Hall, Council did this past week, and what a tremendous job that has been done to restore that former automotive dealership into a fire hall. You can just sense the pride that our volunteer fire department put into that place when they did much of the work with their own sweat and hands, and it's really something to see. And if anyone ever has a chance to tour that was a great move, and I think just a combination of the right building at the right time, the decision of council, and most importantly, the work of the firemen who've made that really something special. So just wanted to congratulate them on such an amazing job.
Absolutely, Councillor Hoffert, and we welcome people to tour that. It's a great building, and the fire chief, the deputy chief, and all of our members have done an absolutely fantastic job on it. Councillor Groba?
Thank you, Your Worship. And they're selling coins right now, I believe, as a fundraiser effort.
Challenger coins.
Challenger coins for $20, and I think the fire chief is even able to explain to you the history of a challenge coin, and he's very knowledgeable in that, but I think it helps them out. So if anybody's interested, I believe it was $20. You go down to the fire hall and purchase yourself a challenge coin.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you. So all in favor? Carried. Next, we have, under executive reports from the water treatment plant manager, the water quality report for August. Could we have a motion, please, to accept that? Thank you, Councillor Groba, seconded by Councillor Moore. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Carried. Okay, next, under introduction of bylaws, we have bylaw 2018-2007 to amend bylaw 2017-1991 from the ECDev board, first reading. Then we'll advertise for a couple of weeks and then bring it back to council. Could we have a motion, please? Councillor Hoffert, seconded by Councillor Yanish. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under public hearings and reports, we have none this evening. Giving notice, none this evening. Oh, yes. Motions from committee, we have none this evening. Consideration of bylaws, we have none. But we are looking, we were going to have a regular council meeting for next week, September 24th. We don't have a lot on the docket. We were able to get it to this meeting, so what's the wish of council? We don't really feel a need at this point in time. Councillor Hoffert?
Can you remind us when the next scheduled one after Monday would be, next Monday?
October 1st.
So a couple of weeks down the road.
Just a couple of weeks away.
A couple short weeks.
Couple short weeks, that's right, Councillor Hoffert. Yep. So could we have a motion then to give notice? Thank you, Councillor Frank, seconded by Councillor Yanish. Any further questions? If not, all in favor? Thank you. We'll see you on October 1st. So then we'll move to inquiries. Councillor Hoffert.
A couple of exciting things have happened in our community over the weekend, Your Worship. Firstly, the Bruins have got their season going with impeccable record so far. They've won their first two games, and the staff of the Bruins have put together another exciting team. It's going to be a great year, and we had a nice crowd out at the first game, home opener, in spite of the competition with the Riders. home game. So I'm looking for great things to build on the momentum of last year. Anyone who was at a playoff game knows how exciting it can be in that arena, and the more fans in the building, the funner it gets, and so encourage everyone to come out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councillor Hobbit.
Secondly, I was able to represent council this weekend at the unveiling of the completed Forever in the Clouds monument that was commissioned by a local group, Lester Heinzman and the Calders, artist Darren Jones, and it's the wood sculpture, and it's really something to see. It's presently out at the airport, and so for the unveiling of the completed monument, which has been around for about a year now, they finally completed it with discovering the photos of the remaining 3 folks that were in that air disaster in Estevan in the 40s. And it was nice. There was 4 dignitaries on site from the Air Force Base in Moose Jaw.
Did a flyover?
It was well represented, and just credit to the local committee, and job well done.
Awesome, and thank you for representing me there. Appreciate it. Councillor Broba?
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just going to remind everyone about the free landfill weekend coming up.
Thank you.
So this weekend, right? September
correct.
22nd and 23rd.
Yep.
So yes, get all your garbage out there. There might be a lineup, so get it there early.
That's right. Thank you, Councillor Broba. Councillor Yanish?
Nothing, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Frank?
Just a reminder to everybody, the Hospital Foundation Lottery is still going on. Tickets are still for sale for the next 2 weeks. You can come down to the hospital, you can go to our website, or you can call our office and get your tickets. Also, I had the pleasure of going to the Humane Society's Duck Derby a couple of weeks ago. My wife and I got to go out and kayak through the water to catch all the ducks after they got past the finish line, so that was a lot of fun. They raised about $7,000, which is almost double what they did last year, so just want to wish them congratulations, and for people to support again next year, make sure you buy your ducks again when they do it next year.
Great stuff. My duck didn't win, but thank you. For
Sorry,
that,
I was looking for yours, but
I noticed it fell out of your pocket.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was.
after
Yeah,
it took
we had
place,
it hidden in the kayak. So yeah.
Okay, you kept it warm anyway. Okay, thank you. Councillor Wurr?
Thank you, Worship. I think it's a good time to thank the citizens of Estevan and surrounding area for buying tickets for the Rotary Ball Drop. We raised some good money between us and Weyburn, and always keeping in mind that money is spent within the area, and we just thank everybody for taking part of it, and we look forward to pulling the same situation off next year. So
Absolutely.
thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And I know Councillor, and I won't say Travis, Councillor Frank, his wife is in Rotary and does a great job for us, as well as City Manager Jeff and Councillor Hoffert. So, and myself, and everyone contributed, and we absolutely appreciate all of the help that everyone did to make that possible, because that was a lot of work. And thank you for your efforts as well. City Manager, anything this evening? Nothing? City Treasurer? Nothing? City Clerk?
Nothing, Your Worship.
Nothing? Okay, if not, then could we have a motion to move into committee, please? Councillor Hoffert? Or, I'm looking right at Councillor Yanish. It's a long night. Thank you, Councillor Frank. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.